It's Sunday evening. I'm sitting at home. I'm in my pajamas. I don't know why. I just thought that it's a good time for me to get into this topic, which is why I stopped making YouTube videos. If you've been subscribing to the channel for a while, you probably realized that the last video that I uploaded was in the month of April of last year, I think. And since then, I haven't really uploaded anything more. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about why it was the case. Like, why did I stop uploading videos? And to be honest, like, I've been thinking about it a long time as well. About like, why did I actually stop and why did I want to stop? There were multiple reasons, but I'm gonna get into all of them in this video today. But I think before I talk about why I stopped making videos, I want to talk about why I started making videos in the first place. And there's actually a bunch of other things that I want to talk about before I get into that. Of course, this is a video, so if you want to skip to the end to know the reason, just you can skip and that's fine. But for the rest of you who kind of want to get into it a little bit deep, let's talk about it. First and foremost, why did I start making videos on YouTube in particular? So it was, I think, 2012 or 13, something like that. I was in high school when I just started making videos just for fun. It was literally just for fun. I got into photography. I had a little tiny point and shoot camera and I was just making videos, uploading them on YouTube. I remember there was this first video that I made about just life at Brigade Road in Bangalore. That's where I'm from, Bangalore. And it was just a lot of fun. Like, it started off as like an idea of like self-expression primarily. And then I went to college, I went to Manipal, and yeah, I joined a student media body called MTTN. And at MTTN, I was a photographer, but for some reason, I was still just really interested in making videos, and no one else around me was making videos at that time. And so I remember there was this one time when a senior at MTTN asked me, "Hey, Mayank, like there's this event that's happening where like this aeronautical club, Aero MIT, they were, I think, flying this drone that they'd built." And he was like, "Yeah, if you want, you can just go shoot some video clips. We can post it on our Facebook or whatever." But at that time, so I shot a bunch of clips and I was like, you know what? It would be fun to actually just edit them to music and make them into something bigger than just a few clips to upload to Facebook. So then that's what I did. And I made this really cool video, uploaded it onto MTTN's YouTube channel. Like, yeah, everyone loved it. It was really impressive because no one else was making videos like that at that time. And so then that's kind of like what got me started into it. And I think over the next 4 years at Manipal, I did a whole bunch of just making videos just for fun, whether it was covering events, I started working as a freelance video editor for an ad agency, and I was just making video content about anything really. Like, it was like, really looking back, I was just experimenting and trying to find my place and trying to find what I like making. And I never really quite found that. Like, I did start vlogging at some point as well. I tried making music videos. I tried making advertisement videos, but nothing I ever did really seemed to click and take off. I was having fun, but from the perspective of views, like over 5 to 6 years of making videos, I only basically got like 600 subscribers at the end of it. It was really not a lot, and each of my videos only got like 200-300 views at max. Like, it wasn't anything more than that. But I mean, I still kept doing it because it was fun and I was having fun doing it, and it was mostly a exercise of self-expression than anything else. But then I moved to Paris to do a master's in business because I realized that, yeah, I want to work in marketing and that's the kind of the career path that I want to take. And so I moved to Paris and I still continued. I remember I was still making these random little videos here and there. And then I got this internship in Los Angeles where I was actually like doing a digital marketing internship at a startup. And that's where I learned about the concept of search engine optimization. And I learned about the fact that, oh, if you make videos that people are searching for and people want to watch, your videos will get more views. I mean, it's such a simple concept to think about right now, but it blew my mind back then because I also realized that a few of the videos that I'd made about Manipal, those videos got a lot of views. I remember there was this one video that I made about 7 places to go visit in Manipal or something like that. And that video got like 40,000 views. And I looked through YouTube analytics and I was like, ooh, like actually most of these views are coming from people searching for Manipal and finding my videos. And it was during my marketing internship in Los Angeles that I was also doing a lot of SEO related things like blogging for SEO for the startup that I worked for. And I kind of like it, everything just started coming together. I was like, oh, like maybe I should make videos that people are actually searching for, and that maybe people will search for some specific keywords and find. And I think the logical thing at that point seemed to make videos about Manipal, because I'd made earlier videos about Manipal. And so I was like, okay, let's try making one more video about Manipal. I think 4 reasons to go study at Manipal. And I think 8 things I wish I knew before I went to Manipal. I made like these 2 Manipal videos, and they also got a lot of views. And sometime around then, so like fast forward like May of 2020, right? I was still, this thing was still in my head that, oh, I should make videos, I should make content that people are actually looking for specifically. And I also knew a lot about search engine optimization around then. So I was like, ooh, okay. And around the same time, I realized that I was getting a lot of LinkedIn messages from people asking me about HEC Paris. Like, how do I get into HEC Paris? What should I do for the interview of HEC Paris? How do I write my admissions essays for HEC Paris? What was your experience like at HEC Paris? Like, people were asking me so many questions about HEC Paris. And even like, so that was on LinkedIn, right? And then even otherwise, like I had some friends who were applying for MIM programs or like masters in Europe and asking me for help and stuff. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is something that people are searching for. And how do I know people are searching for it? Because people are sending me messages asking me questions. And the reason why people ask me questions is because they know that I'm studying at HEC Paris. But when they search on YouTube or they search on Google, they cannot find anything at all. Like they can't find any information at all about HEC Paris or about even MIM. Basically, I was like, oh, like let's just try to make as many videos about HEC Paris as possible. And I made the first video about HEC Paris, and that took off. Like it got so many views so quickly. I got a lot of subscribers all at once. I think I went from 600 subscribers to like 1,500 or 2,000 with this first video. I think it was something like that. And then I was like, oh, this is cool. Let's make the second video, and then make the third video and fourth video. And I was like, I had so much to talk about at that time. Like there was so much about HEC Paris, about MIM, about studying in France that I knew that wasn't out there on the internet. No one was able to find this information. And that's why it worked so well. And that's kind of like why I started making, that's kind of what led me to start making these videos about HEC Paris. I know I've just been on like this long ramble, but I hope it kind of like makes a little bit of sense. Once that started happening, I was like, okay, I will graduate in 1 year's time, and I'll be looking for marketing jobs in 1 year's time. And what's the best case study to show an employer? The best case study to show an employer that I can do digital marketing is to digitally market myself. If I could grow this YouTube channel into something big, I think that would give me a lot of credibility in the eyes of employers. And that's why I was like, okay, this HEC Paris topic seems to work really well. A lot of people seem to be really highly impacted and benefited by this topic as well. I have something to share that people need, and it's also gonna help me build this project that's gonna put me in, like, that's gonna give me a lot of credibility in the eyes of employers. And I think it made a lot of sense. It seemed like a win-win where I was helping people, I was also helping myself, and it made a lot of sense. So I just went all in on making videos about HEC Paris, giving people all they wanted. Every time someone asked me a question on Instagram, I would even make a video about it sometimes. And I was just creating content about MIM as much as I could, because I was like, okay, I'm helping people. I'm also building a project for myself. The channel is growing. Everything about it just seemed to align with itself. 6 months after I started making videos, I also signed up for an affiliate program with Magoosh. It was after I made the video about Magoosh GMAT where I was like, oh, wait a minute, like maybe Magoosh has like some sort of an affiliate program where they can give me a bit of a kickback or a commission on every sale that I generate. And I signed up for it, and the channel actually started making money. Like it was making, at that time, it started making like 200, 250 euros a month, which was crazy. Like, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually making money now. And that was so cool. So I was like, oh wow, okay, wait. So people are being helped. Like, people clearly seem to be very greatly benefited by this content, because I would get a lot of messages from you guys, like thanking me for my videos. My YouTube channel is growing, so that's giving me a lot of credibility. And on top of that, I'm making money. Like, this is insane. And I was having a lot of fun as well. Like, it was actually so much fun. Like, in my second year at HEC Paris, there was a lot of things to do, but I was still somehow finding time to make YouTube videos because I just found it so much fun and I enjoyed it so much. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of like how it all exactly started. So yeah, I covered why I started making videos, and I covered why I started making videos about HEC and MIM specifically. Now, how did my life change after making these videos? Or like after starting to make these YouTube videos where my channel grew? Firstly, I just think that I just felt so much happier with myself. More than building the project and earning money, it was really the fact that I've realized that I was helping people because of all the messages I would receive, all the positive feedback I would get on my videos. It just made me feel like I had a purpose. It made me feel like, wow, like I have something that people are greatly benefited by, and I'm in a position to be able to share it. It's so perfect. So, and that also just manifested itself in ways like I would start getting recognized on campus. Literally, like I went back to the HEC campus in my second year, and I remember on the first day I went back for my second year, this one guy came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you're the guy from YouTube, right? Like I've seen your YouTube videos over the summer before coming to HEC, and they were so helpful. Thank you very much." And I was like, "Whoa, this is wild. I've never been recognized outside like that before by people who I've never seen before in my life. Never happened." And over the next like 12, 18, even 24 months, like I just kept getting recognized. Like people on campus would recognize me. I would get recognized at the supermarket. I would walk into a party at HEC Paris and 3 people would come up to me being like, "Oh, you're the guy from YouTube. Thanks a lot for your videos." And that made me feel so good. It made it so much easier for me to make friends. It made it so much easier for me to build connections and grow my network. And it was incredible. I think just that validation of the fact that I'm spending my time in a way that's worthwhile, it's helping people and making people happy, it just made me so fulfilled. And primarily, that was the main thing that changed after making the videos for me. Also, like, I think fast forwarding to when I graduated, I think it also just made it a lot easier for me to get my first job, because when I'm looking for digital marketing positions and I show an employer that I've made this YouTube channel, it grew to 15,000, 20,000 subscribers, they're always impressed. Like, they look at my videos, they're always impressed, and it makes my profile so much more credible. It just gave me, I think it gave such a big boost to my profile and my CV that I felt very happy that the goal that I had set out with, which was to build a project which would help me get a job, I succeeded in that for sure. And so that was pretty awesome as well. I also ended up getting freelance offers, and I did some freelance work as well as a result of these videos, as a freelance video editor, as a digital marketer. And I think overall, what I realize is that making videos on YouTube and making videos in a way that's helping people and building this community, it just like it gave me so much credibility. And yeah, that it gave me a lot of credibility, and it gave me a network, which was incredible. Two things that are super valuable when you've just graduated from a master's degree. Another way that making videos also helped me was that after moving to Paris, after moving away from the campus, moving to Paris, I was able to make friends really easily as well. Like a lot of you guys and people in my audience otherwise on Instagram would just send me Instagram DMs being like, "Hey, can I take you out for a coffee? Or do you want to meet?" And at that time, I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for new friends. I'm looking for people to meet." So I met so many people. I had so many coffees with different people, met so many friends. Honestly, some of the friends that I have today are people who I met through Instagram or YouTube, which is incredible. Like it helped me so much. Everything was perfect, everything was great. I was having fun. Why did it start to not be fun? Why did I eventually end up stopping? Let's get into that. So, one main thing was that my entire community was either people who wanted to apply to MIM programs in Europe or France or HEC or this whole thing, or they were people who were already students. And it was pretty much just these two. I just think that after I stopped being a student, it became way harder for me to find video topics to make videos about. Because when I was a student at HEC Paris, I was in my second year. Actually, I was in my third academic year. And so I was kind of like an expert HEC Paris student. Like I knew enough about my experience at HEC Paris to really talk about it with confidence and to be able to guide and advise people. But now I've graduated, like at that point, 2021, I graduated. And I was like, whoa, okay, so I've graduated now. What videos am I going to make? Like, but at the same time, I was like, oh, but I also have to get a job. I have to start my career. I have to build my life in Paris. It seemed like I was back to square one of building things in my life again, whether it was my career, my friend group, my social life, all of that stuff. And I didn't really want to make videos about those things. I didn't want to make videos about my new job, because I was kind of struggling in that job because it was my first job, and I didn't really have a lot of idea of what I was doing. I was really learning as I went. And I also didn't want to make videos about my social life in Paris, because like I don't want to make videos with people who I don't know that well. Like my friends at that time weren't people that I knew super well, so I don't want to make videos about them or with them in it either. I mean, save for a few exceptions, I guess. And so then I was like, oh, what do I make videos about? And it just became like this tug of war basically between, should I make videos about my life or should I just be living my life? And it became really hard to do both at the same time, because now I was having new experiences. I wasn't in a place where I could give advice about those experiences yet. And so that's when I started to feel a little bit like, oh, I don't know what to make videos about. So that was on the one hand. On the other hand, because a lot of my audience was still people who were interested in MIM or interested in HEC Paris, I was just still getting a lot of messages and questions about HEC Paris and MIM, and like asking me to make more content about HEC, MIM, studying in France, all of that. But I was no longer at HEC. I was no longer doing MIM. I was no longer studying. And so I just didn't want to make videos about those topics because I felt like I'd already said what I wanted to say. But yet, because of all these videos that I'd already made, new people were finding me, and new people were finding my channel, reaching out to me, asking me questions about MIM, often asking me questions that I'd already answered in a video, but because I'd released that video like a year back, maybe they weren't finding it or whatever. But it just I started to feel pressured from multiple sides. On the one side, I was feeling pressured from my audience and my community to make more videos about HEC and MIM. On the other side, I was feeling pressured from my work, being like, oh, I have to build my career, and that's a whole new arena for me to play in and a whole new thing for me to do and learn. Because you see, when I was at HEC, I was like the YouTube guy. I was like the HEC MIM expert. It felt like I had like made it in some way, I use quotes because it just felt like it a bit at the time. But when I graduated and I started working, I was at the bottom of the pyramid once again, where I had no credibility in the work world except for the credibility that I built through YouTube. But all the YouTube stuff, all my HEC degree, YouTube channel, all of these things just got my foot in the door. I mean, aside from getting my foot in the door, it didn't really give me any real credibility in the professional world. I had to build that. So I was facing pressure on that end that I wanted to build credibility and build experiences and skills and subsequently credibility in the professional world. And then at the same time, I just moved into the city. I was living in Paris for the first time in an apartment. I was living with a flatmate at that time, but like basically living in a city where I had to rebuild my social circle again, because most of my HEC friends, they left France. They either moved to the UK or other parts of Europe. And that was the third pressure that I was facing, to be like, oh, I have to like make friends again. I have to like build a social circle again. So all of this was kind of just making me be like, oh wait, I can't focus on all three. And it was starting to get really, it started to get a bit stressful. But then because the momentum of the channel was there, I was like, oh, I can't give up on this now. Like I have to keep making videos because I have this huge community. I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to, like lose what I've built up. And so I have to keep making videos, because if I stop making videos, it's everything's gonna go and people are gonna forget me. And yeah, so then I kept making videos. I mean, I did challenge myself a bit to be like, okay, let's make videos about different topics and not MIM stuff. So I made a bunch of videos about different topics. And this is when things got interesting, where I made this one video about an apartment tour. And that video blew up. It went viral. It got like 1.5 million views. I think it's 1.4 or 1.5 million views in total. And that, I feel like it basically it made things a lot more exciting, but little did I know at the time it was the beginning of the end. Because that video blew up and it got a lot of views, it went viral and all of that. But what they don't tell you about going viral is that once one video goes viral, your new baseline becomes that virality, which is like, once you had a video that reaches 1.5 million views, every other video feels like a disappointment in terms of views. And that's when it started to get even more pressuring. When I was like, okay, so I got this 1.5 million view apartment tour video, and then I was like, okay, let's make more apartment tour videos. I made 3 or 4 more. And they got a bunch of views as well, but subsequently the views started dropping in the apartment tour videos. And then after that happened, I was like, okay, wait, now what else? I'm not making videos about MIM. Apartment tour videos are too hard to make. I kept chasing and chasing and chasing the high of getting a 1 million view video again. And that's when it started getting like really hard. And I feel like that's when it kind of like, yeah, honestly, it felt like I was just chasing something that I didn't even enjoy. And I felt like I was chasing the views. I was chasing the feeling of building something that helped people again, but I didn't really have the ability to help people about MIM and HEC anymore, because I was not a student of HEC anymore, even though I was still getting a lot of people ask me to make videos about those topics. So it kind of felt like I was pushing something uphill to not make videos about HEC and make videos about something else. But then as I was pushing something uphill, I was also chasing the, okay, let's get a 1 million view video again. All the while also juggling my career and my social life and all that stuff in France. It just felt like too much. And so I feel like that video going viral, it was kind of the inflection point for me to be like, okay, this is really cool, but the video went viral not overnight. It took like 6 months from posting to getting 1.5 million views. And that entire 6 months was so stressful, because I was like, oh, crazy, I'm getting 50,000 views a day on this video on like some of the crazier days. And I was like, okay, I gotta keep making videos, like, and then it was just like, yeah, at the end I was just like done, And then I kind of started, like, I still continue to make a few videos here and there. I was like, okay, I started this podcast series of interviewing some of my friends, about their lives in France and stuff. And then I think like, yeah, like, and that was like the last video that I published about that podcast series. Like, it was an episode of that podcast series. And after that, I was kind of like, you know what? I think I'm kind of like done. I'm not enjoying, apartment tours were done because it was very hard to find new apartments to make videos of. The podcast series was nice, but then I actually shot 2 episodes which I didn't even upload. I'm really sorry, both of you. You know who you are. And then tried making videos about other topics, and I was just like, wasn't feeling it, man. Like, I didn't really feel like I had anything to say. I also kind of realized that, in order for me to have something to say, I need to live my life a bit. And I was spending all of my time either on my job or making YouTube videos, or just like admin and chores and organizing my life. That, like, I felt like I wasn't really gaining any significant new experiences or like significant new relationships, or it just felt like I was spreading myself too thin, because this whole pressure of like, oh, I gotta keep making YouTube videos, otherwise the channel's gonna go and everything's gonna go and my life is gonna be so bad. Like, I think that was just stopping me from having other experiences or growing in my career or growing in my life, which I felt like I really needed to do. Like, yeah, like after you've graduated from a master's program, life kind of that's when real life kind of hits. Like there's no more structure anymore. I have to grow in my career, but that's completely on me. I have to grow in my social life and my personal life and finding a relationship and all of that. And it's all really on me. And I was like, okay, I think I'm spreading myself too thin. I feel like the YouTube thing, it's taking away from me more than it's giving back. When I was at HEC making videos about HEC Paris and MIM, it was taking very little from me. It was taking me barely 3 hours a week, 3 hours a week on making these videos, and it was giving me back so much. But at this point, it felt like it was taking 10 to 12 to 15 hours a week from me and giving me back not a lot. And so I was like, it doesn't make sense anymore. It was a very hard decision to be like, you know what, I'm not going to upload any more videos. After I uploaded the last video, I still thought that I would upload more, but then I just didn't. I just didn't feel like editing them. I didn't feel like uploading them. So I was like, you know what? After a point, I was like, it's done. Like, I think I want to take a break. And then I was like, I'm not uploading any videos. I'm not making any videos. I just made a rule to be like, I'm not even going to think about making videos or uploading videos because I think I need to actually take a break. And that's kind of why I stopped making videos. It was, to put it in a nutshell, it kind of started to feel a bit like when you're at a party and this always happens where after a certain point at the party, usually around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that, it's not going to get any more fun. The peak has reached. It's starting to go down. And you still stay around at the party thinking, okay, like, let me just stay for a little bit more time. Maybe something fun's going to happen. Maybe something crazy is going to happen. I can't leave now. I'm going to leave at the very end. Honestly, what happens when you do that is nothing more fun happens. You just get more and more tired. You sleep later. The next morning you wake up, you feel way more groggy because you haven't had enough sleep. And it's essentially you just crash. A better thing to do is leave the party once it stops getting fun, go home, sleep, rest yourself, get ready for another party the next weekend. And so I felt like I had stayed way past the fun point at the party. Like, if I wanted to climb another mountain, a bigger, taller, better mountain, I had to get down from this mountain first. And I was so stuck on being on top of this mountain that I wasn't getting down. And so that's when I was like, okay, I have to get down and I have to climb a different mountain. I have to be a complete beginner in something else again, whether it's YouTube but a different niche, a different topic, or whether it's a completely different field altogether. I have to get down from this one mountain before I can start climbing the other mountain. And so that's what I was doing. I was climbing down. The process of climbing down from the mountain also took some time. It was very hard. And I felt like for a few months I was at the bottom where I wasn't doing anything really other than my job, obviously. Like I was still growing in my career and stuff, but like on YouTube and like on this side of things, I wasn't really doing anything, is what I felt at the time anyway. But I was actually growing in my career. I was growing personally. I got into a relationship last year in the month of April, and I've been working on that. I've been working on myself. I've been working on my health. I've been working on my career. I'm actually making a significant career move very shortly. I'll tell you more about that in a bit as well in a future video. That's what I was doing when I was at the bottom of the mountain, so to say, the YouTube mountain. I think it was the best decision ever. I think it was great. It was a great decision for me to do that. It was very hard. It felt like I was driving this bus at a really high speed and I was pushing the brakes, but the bus was just not stopping, and it was very hard to get that bus to stop. But once it stopped, I think, like, I feel like a lot of positive change happened then. That's basically why I stopped. I know this video is going to be a very long video. It's fine. If you've stayed here till the end, you know who you are. Like, thanks a lot for staying and listening. It's been a bit of a long ramble. But yeah, I felt like this video was a long time coming. I just wasn't prepared to make this video earlier. I just didn't think I had all the thoughts in my mind all clarified out. Initially, I was also thinking I'll script this video, but then I was like, you know what? No, I think it's just better for me to just talk straight out from the heart, and whoever wants to listen to it will listen to it, and whoever doesn't want to listen to it will not listen to it, and that's totally fine. So, yeah, that's it. So now, am I going to make YouTube videos again? Possibly, yes. I really do want to. I feel like for a bit, I'm going to go back to what it was when I started making videos in the first place, long time back in 2012, 2013. I'm just going to make videos about things that I find interesting, I find fun. I've already started doing that on my Instagram with Instagram Reels. You should go check it out if you haven't seen them already. And I might do that with YouTube as well. And if I lose subscribers, which I probably will, that's fine, that's okay. Because if you guys subscribed, the subscribers that followed my channel expecting MIM content are not gonna get that. So it's better that they unsubscribe if that's all that they want. But for the rest of you who are still here, who are following along in this journey, thanks. Thanks a lot. I don't think I would have ever come to where I am right now in my career if it was not for you guys. And I can't thank you enough for that. That's it. I think that's the end of this video. I don't think I have anything more to say. And yeah, well, thanks a lot for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video, maybe. I don't know when that next video is going to be. Don't know what that next video is going to be about. But if you're still here, I'll see you there. And otherwise, yeah, thanks. Also, what do you think of my new bald head and mustache? That's another life change that I made recently. I went bald. Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, see ya.